When we're leading or parenting people right now, and no matter if they're kids or they're adults, anytime that we're in a leadership role, we have any kind of influence of authority, especially today, we need to lead from wisdom and not from fear. And that's a big part of it. If kids or even our employees, people that are influenced by us, hear panic in our voice, that is going to make them feel more panicked. It was really interesting to me. We were on a family Zoom call last week. And so my family, it was all generations. It was my whole family. So I've got 2 siblings. They're both married. We've got everything from alpha to millennials for the grandkids. And so we're all on this call. And like my son lives in Japan right now. So that freaks me out a little bit. And so we're all on the call together. And my dad and I worked before the call to write out some questions to send to everybody. And it was like, just answer, just whatever. You can pick one if you want. But it was different questions. And one of the ones that we asked is, what is the hardest thing for you right now or the biggest disappointment? And I really expected my daughter, who just turned 16, to talk about missing school, missing events, that's what I expected her to say. Right. And I was really shocked because what she said is the hardest thing is that adults don't know what to do. So you have to understand that their security, their base is pulled out from underneath them right now because we're all navigating waters that we've never been through before. And so that really hit me hard because I was expecting a much more, I don't want to say shallow answer, but something that I felt would be more appropriate to her world, you know? And when she said that the biggest thing is that adults don't know what to do, I was like, whoa. So I think that's a big part of even talking about your friend with the 10-year-old. I think that's a big part of that is feeling from all different places, even if the adult in their life, the parent, is exhibiting calm and reassurance. There's so much out there with social media, the news, all the addresses that happen, all the things that sometimes we don't even realize kids are taking in. Yeah. And they are like, I laugh with my mom, but I was sending songs to my old friend back and forth from the 70s, just as a fun thing she lives in California, I live in Ohio, just to break up our monotony. And I thought of a song by the Doobie Brothers. And I remember this album cover they had that when you opened it up, they were all kind of not very clothed inside. And I told my mom, we laughed about it because I was making jokes about what I thought when I was a kid about it and everything. And I was talking to my mom about it. And she's like, oh my gosh, I was a terrible mother. I'm like, no, you weren't. It's like, I just didn't realize you would have seen any of that. Like that would have been of interest to you at 5. Right. And so what that woke me up to is there's so much going on that I maybe don't have an awareness for what my child is taking in. Yeah. And to understand that that's why boundaries are important and asking lots of questions about their day and who they're talking to and how are your friends doing and what are your friends talking about and to try to get that. And if you can get them to open up about that, then they're not isolated. See, isolation causes that anxiety to climb. You can be in the same room with someone and still be isolated. So helping people to get in touch with their emotions and to express them, emotions are way harder to say. They're so much scarier when they're unsaid than when they're said. And so if you can get them to say those emotions, they think it's going to make them feel worse. It doesn't. It makes them feel better. But I mean, even as an adult, I tend to do that, right? You go into that whole pattern where I'm trying to get myself, focus on something else to get, no matter, even if it's work or whatever it is, to disengage from what I'm afraid of. And so that's what happens. They are trying to disengage, trying to fill that space with binge watching Walking Dead or, whatever they're into. But they playing Animal Crossing, which just came out last week and I see a lot of. So, they're doing those kind of things. And I'm not saying those things are bad. They're only bad when they keep you from acknowledging what's going on the inside and what you need to get out. Right. But I just think the biggest thing is to parent and lead out of wisdom and not fear. I really think that's the number one most important thing. And then help them set those boundaries and get them to talk.